Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So I apologize for not having gotten a video out in a few days. We've been very busy dealing with trying to get a house or an apartment. A lot of scams out there, so be careful. We fell for a couple of them, but no more. I'm doing my research first now before we even fill out an application. So, and that is why the main reason why I haven't gotten a video out in a few days. But today I decided I was going to get this out because I'm taking my beautiful fiance fishing tomorrow. So it's today or not for days. So we've been decoding REM, Losing My Religion, and we've gotten our extractions are set enough change to set it up. And if you cross off the S because it's still in set it up here, cross off the I because it's still in set it up. You cross off this E because it's still in set it up. You cross off the U because it's still in set it up. You're left with A, D, N, O, G, H, T, T, P. And that happened twice. So we brought A, D, N, O, G, H, T, T, P down twice. And the thing with that is, for those of you who are following along, you know, once we get through halfway, unless I change the letters around, which I could do because a computer surely would, then it repeats and we can go backwards. And once we get halfway back, then we're done. And I don't want to rearrange the letters if I don't have to. So, but we could. And if I did, I'd want to every time, and that'd be a whole thing. So, we've gotten these extractions to run through the stock market. We got them to run through finance and medical uh, and chemical and artificial intelligence, which is our new category because it went through. And now we are, and I don't think I'm missing one, and now we are on laboratories. So yes, and now we're on laboratories. I forgot to highlight our quantum network suspect this time, but when I get back in, I will highlight it again. I'll just point it out. We've highlighted it every other time. So I was kind of in a hurry to get this done, so I didn't highlight it. But I will highlight it, and they are a suspect, and we'll get to them in a moment. So in laboratories, if you start right out with ADN, you get ADN lab, and it's a medical lab in Mexico. All right. You also get LabCorp DNA at home legal DNA testing. And the reason I went with that is because it came up and we could arrange these letters any way we wanted. A computer surely would. And ADN is in fact DNA scrambled. And it came up in ADN. So we went ahead and included that. But if you move on from that, you have DN by itself, and that is DN laboratory, and that's a drug testing laboratory. Good times. Oh, and disclaimer. You're going to see, if you go through some of these links, you will see some cerveza bug information, by the way. I'm not so sure about those first ones, but there will be some cerveza bug information. View that information at your own discretion. We don't believe in it. We think it's a bunch of garbage. And so view any and all cerveza bug, and I think we all know what I'm talking about, information at your own discretion, not mine. Not anybody else's. View it at your own discretion. All right? Make that very clear. I would eliminate those if I could, but they're there, so it's there. It's pretty much anywhere you want to look, guys. It's out there. Propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. But again, view at your own discretion. Not mine. All right. So we're moving on, and you have OG, and OG ends up being OG Laboratories, and they deal with CBD products. So that deals with cannabis, that deals with medical marijuana, and we've got that before in this search. So that's interesting. If you move on from that, you have GH, which ends up being Global Harvest Laboratories, and they deal with research and development. I don't know what I think about the word global anymore when I see it, but there it is. Again, if you move on from that, you have HT, which ends up being HT Labs. You also have HT Laboratories Incorporated. You also have HT Laboratory, HT Group. All right. So you get a few things with HT. If you move on from that, you have HTT, which ends up being 620016. Huntington, in this case, it says disease, HTT genetic testing, Laboratory Corporation of America. All right. We didn't have to include that, but we got Huntington or Huntington's before in this search. So I included it, even though it wasn't an HTT lab. It dealt with Huntington's HTT, so we included it. If you move on from that, you have TP, which ends up being TP Orthodontics Custom Lab Services. You also get TP Laboratories Incorporated. And if you move on from that, you have PT, which ends up being pt.lapi laboratories. And that gets you through going forwards. And that was kind of short, but it did go through. And some of it I didn't include. So, and even though some came up that I didn't include, the reason I didn't include it was because it wasn't a specific laboratory. The only reason I included Huntington's was because it came up before. Otherwise, I wouldn't have included that either. But that gets you through going forward. Now we're coming back, and you end up with PT. Oh, we are coming back at PT, and that pt.lapi laboratories. Excuse me, sorry for that. But if you move on from that, coming back, you have PTT, which ends up being 005207 partial thromboplastin time PTT activated LabCorp. And again, that wasn't a PTT lab, but we had PTT come up before that thing that's hard to pronounce, time partial thromboplastin time. And so I included it in this case. All right. But you also get PTTMX, U Chicago Medicine Medical Laboratories, and that ends up being a test code. So I included it. And again, wouldn't have had to, could have went right by it because we got PT, and now we've got TT, so we didn't have to have PTT, but we got it anyway. So now, if you move on from that, you got TT, which ends up being TT Laboratories Sunshine Plant Boosters, among other things that they have products of. And I find that to be interesting because we had the medical marijuana, right, a couple of times, and the cannabis or the CBD laboratory. And here is Sunshine Plant Boosters TT Laboratories. You also get TT Lab, which is, I think, different. And you also get Accredited Testing Laboratories, TTBS. All right. And if you move on from that, you get THG, which ends up being THG Paris Lab. I'm not too sure what they're about. But if you move on from that, but it's in there. And if you move on from that, you have HG, which ends up being HG Laboratories LLC. And if you move on from that, you have GO, and that ends up being Go Lab, and that is says it's the largest collection of online labs. Ah, yes, there will be your cerveza bug propaganda, information in there. View at your own discretion. um, you also get Go Pathology Laboratories, uh, GoPath Laboratories, and that is Global Pathology Services. And again, I'm not sure what I think of that word global anymore, but it's there again. And if you move on from that, you have GON, which ends up being Mega GON, GON, Labs, and they deal with experimental analytics and data management. All right, and if you move on from that, you have NDA, which ends up being Nebraska Department of Agriculture Laboratories. So there's for my neck of the woods. You also get NDA as Directorate of Laboratory Services National Drug Authority. Drug Authority. I'm not so sure. Authority. Drug Authority. Really? That's what it is. I guess they're the authority. That's a big word these days. Authority. Um, Drug Authority. Why not? That's what you got. And if you move on from that, you get back up and take ND by itself. And once again, I had to do it uh, specifically. You end up with University of North Dakota. You got research labs and medical laboratory science at the University of North Dakota. And although I didn't highlight it because I was in a hurry to get this done, so far they've come up every single time, and they can hit anything in North Dakota, by the way. Not just that, but this University of North Dakota here has come up every single time. I will highlight it again. And unless something changes our mind between the next few categories and the numbers, then we will run the gematria against them to see if the University of North Dakota, in fact, ran the calculation with a quantum computer that caused this change to REM Losing My Religion. And that gets you through going forwards and backwards in laboratories. Did we get all that? That wasn't quite as long as the others. So, research groups will be next, followed by technology, followed by random hits. Then we'll turn this all into numbers and go again. And if nothing changes our mind by the end of the numbers, we will run the gematria against the University of North Dakota and see if they, in fact, are the ones that ran the quantum calculations that caused this particular change. All right. Now, I don't think there's anything else I have to cover. It's probably going to be a few days again before I get the next video out. So bear that in mind. Definitely won't be tomorrow. If I'm lucky, it'll be Tuesday. If I'm not lucky, it'll be Wednesday or Thursday. It just depends on how things go. Got a lot going on right now. So bear with us, and thank you for your patience. So for now, guys, I guess we're done with this one. So thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down when appropriate. And by the way, if you're still with me and you get anything out of these videos, please thumb up. And thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And that also includes, guys, I haven't got around to watching very many videos either. I've just been completely swamped busy trying to do these applications and stuff, trying to figure out who's a scam and who's not running scams. That's a lot. It's bad enough to have to fill out the damn applications. It's even worse when you have to figure out who's running scams. And believe it or not, a lot of companies are. And if you do your research, which I should have done to begin with, but who knew, you can find out who's running the scams before you fill out the applications. So I advise that if anybody's trying to fill out rental applications, make sure that you run whatever company or whatever, make sure you run some reviews and pay attention to the 1 stars. see if they're running a scam. I believe, I don't know, somebody, maybe it was Phoenix, uh, possibly did a video on running reviews at some point. So make sure you do that. It's more work, but let me tell you something. It's better than spending money on people who are just running a scam. So anyway, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Research groups next. Again, in the next few days, not tomorrow for sure. So sometime, hopefully before Friday or by Friday. I'm not too sure. Just depends. So for now, guys, thanks for watching. And I will try to get to people's videos. I know Danny's got a few videos out that I need to watch. I know Phoenix has a few videos out that I need to watch, among other people. So other videos that I want to watch. But I just haven't had the time. And I apologize for that. But I will get to it as soon as we possibly can. And so for now, you guys have a great rest of your evening.